Grandpa should not be smoking in his room, a soft voice in front of me says. The small girl appeared seemingly out of nowhere, as people tend to do when I'm staggering around with my rattling medication cart, trying to complete a round as fast as possible to ensure that all residents get their medication closely to the desired hour. I screeched to a halt, barely avoiding overrunning her. "Oh, hi there, young lady. I didn't see you there. Are you still on a visit with your grandpa at this hour?" It's 8 p.m. We're a nursing home for the elderly who try to focus on the freedom and personal desires of our residents. And we have no limited visiting hours, so it's not that out of the ordinary to see visitors hanging around till 8 p.m. What's odd, though, is to see a girl of about 5 years old, unaccompanied, roaming the corridors at 8 p.m. Grandpa should not be smoking in his room, she insists. Smoking is bad for you. Now, make no mistake, I am a nurse, so I know that smoking isn't particularly healthy for our residents, or anyone else for that matter. On the other hand, kind of belittling no smoking ads that have been mercilessly forced down our throats these latest years are pretty annoying, and make me want to smoke more rather than less. And the way that little children are taught in schools to tell off their family members and even strangers for smoking annoys me even more. It's just teaching them bad manners. But still, I'm in my official professional job attire. On the clock. On duty. And I guess you could say I'm being notified of an infraction, regardless of the fact that the one who's notifying me is a 5-year-old girl. So it's my job to get the details of this and to do something about it. So I break out my most pleasant smile, squat down to get on eye level with her, and ask, "Where's your grandpa's room, dear?" "Upstairs," she responds. "Do you know his room number?" "His room doesn't have a number." Now I'm confused. "Grandpa has a room number. 57. I can always remember that well, because I am 5, and my brother is 7. And my name is Faith, which also starts with an F. So it's easy for me to remember. Mommy and Daddy are visiting with Grandma. My grandma's sweet, but I love my grandpa. He's awesome. But Grandpa should not be smoking in his room." Now that she mentions it, I know that the inhabitant of room 57 is not a man, but a lady. Mrs. White is in the nursing home because of a rather severe loss of motor skills and strength. But mentally, she's still very much with it. A nice lady to talk to, always friendly and cognitive. Again, 100% with it. She gets a lot of visitors too. I think I've seen the granddad there often. He was still too able to be allowed to live in a facility for the elderly. Oh well. Maybe tonight he's visiting and just can't contain his smoking habits until after the visit. That kind of stuff happens every now and then. Plus, it's darn cold outside. Not really attractive weather to hop out for a smoke break. "Let's go have a look then," I say, looking at the tablet to see which people on this floor need evening medication. And when I look up from the tablet, the girl is gone. "Little girl," I call softly. "If you were a man, I might just consider jumping on the work floor intimidation bandwagon for you calling me that, jokes my younger coworker, who's just coming out of the nurse office with her own medication cart for a different floor. Har har. Seriously, Dana, didn't you just see that little girl walk away? The one who I was just talking to? 5 years old, looking like part of a group of visitors to one of our clients? Come off it. It's Christmas, not April Fool's Day. I've been looking through the window, and don't think I couldn't see you just standing there by yourself for the last 5 minutes, sorting through meds and messing around with the tablet. There was nobody around you. I blink, shrug, and start my medication round. 'Cause these meds aren't going to administer themselves. I'm going to be hitting room 57 soon anyways, so I can tell off the smoking granddad then. It's odd that he even got away with it though. Normally, when someone has the gall to smoke in one of the rooms, it sets off the fire alarm pretty commonly. And even if it doesn't, the reek of smoke usually fills the corridors so bad that they never hide it for long. By the time I near room 57, I still smell no smoke. But several cell phones are blaring their different tunes. All at once, shouts of, "What? Are you sure? We'll be right there. Is he still in there? Is Faith still in there?" Thankfully, I have the good sense to not block the entrance of room 57 with my med cart, because if I had, the couple storming out would definitely have toppled it over. A mask of blind panic on their faces as they storm towards the exit. Apprehensively, I walk into room 57, whose resident is caught by complete confusion and fear. "Mrs. White!" I drop a chair. "What's going on?" "There's a fire. My house is on fire," she says, tears rolling down her face. My heart falls into my stomach. "Your house? Where your husband still lives?" She nods, crying. "He was in there, as far as we already know. They're gonna call me back." I'm at a loss for words. I can't even grasp the anxiety she must be feeling right now. So I just put a hand on her shoulder and offer some tissues. I offer tissues, shut up, and let the client talk, just as we're taught to do. "He was supposed to be watching Faith, our granddaughter. Faith loves her grandpa, so sometimes when my daughter and son-in-law come to visit me, they let her stay with him. Oh, if they could please just inform me whether they've made it out alive." I nod and say, "This must be awfully scary for you, the not knowing and all." In my head, I hear the little girl state again, "Grandpa should not be smoking in his room." In situations like these, there's nothing you want so badly as to stay with your client forever. But reality calls. "I am very sorry, Mrs. White, but I urgently need to go administer some other residents' medications. But I promise that I'll check in with you again as soon as I'm done with that. Okay?" She nods at me, her eyes still full of tears. "Yes, sweetheart. I understand. You have to do your job too." I round another corner with my cart when my work phone beeps. I'm informed that our facility has just received a phone call from the ER of the nearby hospital. And it's not good news. The blaze was so heavy that the firemen were tilting at windmills trying to even get in, let alone rescue Faith and her grandfather. We agree to have a quick meeting with all the nurses on duty to decide how to break this horrifying news to poor Mrs. White. "Okay, I'm coming your way," is the last thing I remember saying into my phone before turning around and taking the corridor once more. And I freeze where I stand. The air is gone from clear to tear-inducing smoke in a fraction of a second. In the middle of a cloud of smoke stands Faith, or what's left of her. Her skin is charcoal with spots of bleeding red. Her clothes hang off her in burned, ashy patches. It's hard to tell where the skin ends and her clothing begins. She shouldn't be able to be here, to breathe, to talk. And yet the last thing I hear before I go down on the floor, taking the clattering medicine cart down with me, is her unnaturally loud scream.
"I told you that Grandpa should not have been smoking in his room.